Sorry for the delay. I was meeting with our compliance director. The recruiting rules have changed, and I was trying to get caught up on it. Am I supposed to talk, or is it just straight questions?
How do you deal with a great season being over so suddenly when you were so close to the Sweet 16 buzz?
I'm not sure what the right answer is to that. Less than 48 hours away from it, I'm still emotionally fractured, and I don't know that I have the right answer because I haven't processed it all. But it was sudden. Obviously, you know, going into the game, it's potentially your last. But for it to end the way that it did, not because of the Sweet 16, not because anything having to do with my ego, but to be able to continue to be around those guys is what I miss more than anything else.
Have you looked at the game since?
No. It'll be a while.
Yeah.
I have it in my mind.
Right.
If I could get it out of my mind, I wish that I could.
What is there one thing that bugs you the most or is sticking in your craw? Is there one thing above all else?
The possessions we gave away in the first half, just too fast offensively, which trended towards allowing them to play too fast offensively and us not being in a position to have our defense set and get consecutive stops, which is the only way we could create any sort of margin for us since Dominique was hurt, was from how we played defensively. And in the games we won, we did that. And in the games we lost, we didn't do that. Not enough of.
Have you talked to Lazar about what happened and do you maybe go out of your way these next couple weeks to make sure he's okay, or are you?
Nah.
He's a grown man.
Yeah, he's as I said with Dennis on the TV show, he's one of the purest humans I've ever known, whether he was a player or not. He's very pure, and I saw him sumo wrestle last night at halftime and hugged him, but didn't say anything to him. I mean, I think that he's hurt by it, but we're all hurt by it, but that wasn't why we got beat.
Well, if you look at Missouri roster, you talk about if you have 9, 10 high major players, is that the makeup of that team? Is that what you would like to get towards as the years go by in your tenure here?
I think that if you looked at the 16 teams left, Arizona may not be, but they overcompensate because they've got 2 for sure first-round picks. But I would say that every team that's left has 9 or 10 high major players left on the team. And I like the complexion of the personnel at Missouri. And I hope that we'll continue to recruit really good players, and as time goes on, we can get close to that.
You have always been able to eloquently and from the heart speak about, your seniors and the privilege of coaching them. It's evident now that you're not going to be, and I know obviously how hard it is, but you can maybe pay a tribute to these kids as players, as young men.
I said this after the game. I understand the points and the rebounds and the games that they won, and those things will forever be in the media guide at Marquette. And I think that everyone in this room has established that they, over the last decade, per se, have become the face of this program. But I think what they've meant to me runs much deeper than that because of the relationships that I've built with them as people. And I think that's the reason why I wanted to keep playing. And that's what I told them in practice last Monday, is if you were to think about all of the things that have transpired in all of our lives over the last year, none of us would have ever came up with the story that has played out. And with then having said that, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, and I told the guys this, I've made more money in the last year than I've made in my career combined. And I live the same way I've always lived. And I've got more Nike shoes than you could possibly have. And I wear the same pair of shoes every day. And what I've learned for myself is that the reasons that I got into coaching at the purest level is the same reasons that I still coach. And that's why if you were to look at what has transpired in my career over the last 3 years, from an objective point of view, you could say I've made some major bad decisions. And they've all played out to where now you would wonder, how did that all happen? And the thing that I told our guys on Monday was, you never know what God has in store. And so everything that you do is operated based on faith. And so no matter your money and no matter your title and no matter where you think you're going to be in 6 months or where you think that you want to be in 6 months and where you actually are, you got to make sure that today is the most important day. And the reason I wanted to keep playing was not so I could stand here and go, man, John Calipari's the best coach, and they've got a freshman point guard that's a pro, and Missouri was really good, and they got a great team and great athletes. The reason I wanted to still stand here today was because if I was standing here today, it ensured that we were still practicing. And that was 3 hours I got to be around our guys. And that's what I miss. And the core of that was derived from those 4 seniors, because the only thing that's the same 349 days later that was the same when it all started was me and those returning guys. And so I don't have to say anything extra to Lazar, and I don't have to say anything extra to those 4 seniors, because I said it every single day I was around them. Whether they played well, whether they played bad, had no influence on the level of my relationship with them. And to not be able to coach them, I think that all kind of comes a part of it. But to not be able to be around them every day is the thing that I'll miss the most, because I think that because they have become the face of the program in so many ways, player-wise, what they have become to our institution in regards to the ambassadors that they have been, I don't know that we'll ever be able to replace that.
Because of all the things you'll probably run into next year, it's probably pretty safe to say that high expectations from outside these walls won't be one of them. But from what you know is coming back and what you suspect is coming in recruit-wise, what do you expect?
That's a good question, Mike. I haven't probably haven't completely thought through all of that just because of the emotion from the last game. I really like who we've signed. I think that we've got to add a couple of more pieces, if at all possible. I think that our offseason as it relates to our returning players is critical, because all of them will have an increased role in some sort of way, whether that means more minutes or not. No matter who would have taken this job or who would have got this job, everybody knew that the apple cart was going to change after this year. And I think that from a recruiting perspective, we've been accountable up until this point. And I think that, I mean this in a genuine way, I think that we'll continue to be accountable. But we're not going to be able to solve it in one recruiting class. And that's why the 2010 class, in some respects, won't be as large, but will have just as much of an impact as the 2009 class. Because in order to get it to a point where you're an elite level team, I do believe that you need 9 or 10 high major guys. I think Lazar obviously is our best player, and I think his role will continue to expand on both ends of the floor. And I think the expectations of the 5 players that we've signed so far, they're all going to have to be really good, and they're going to have to be really good really early. And I anticipate that we'll have the NCAA longest allowed practices and individual workouts you can have over the first 90 days of their career, because of what we lost and because of what we had to replace. A lot of things tied into that. In addition to, or combination of, it's their first year at Division I, academically, athletically. So my expectations will probably be the same as they are every day. Just work as hard as you possibly can and pound the rock and wake up and do it again tomorrow.
From a coaching perspective, you know, when you come in and you inherit a group like you did, you obviously want to play to their strengths. Now, when you welcome in a big recruiting class next year, do you foresee things changing, the way you're going to coach, the way you'd like to play offensively and defensively?